Get ready for another microdose. And hey, if this information is jiving with you, then check out the full episode. The link is in the show notes.
Because, like I said, you can believe something or you can have faith in something, but you got to verify it.
Yeah, what do you mean? Go further. What do you mean? Yeah.
It's like this idea of, like principles. Stephen Covey talks about this, a principle-centered life. And when your values are principles, that's helpful. Why? Because principles are universal, timeless, and self-evident. So that self-evident piece is very important. See if it's true. And when you see it's true, then you know it.
Yeah.
It's a knowing rather than it being up here. It's in your being. It's you actually understand it. You get it. It's a deeper understanding. And when you understand something, it alleviates you from a lot of other, alleviates you from superstitions or having opinions, because everybody has an opinion and their opinion is based on the one experience they had, and they're not really looking at the context, because we take content and put it in any context and think it's the same. No, context changes your view to it. So it's like things are always changing. So we got to see things in new and fresh ways, because what is happening now is not what happened before. The conditions have changed. We've changed. Everything's changed. So you might come to the same conclusion, but you have to have the same process of being open to seeing things as they are, not as we want them to be, and seeing when we're embellishing them or when we're awfulizing things, because there's opinions that are going in instead of us getting the raw data and getting a real sense of letting whatever's there speak to us in its own language. So that's challenging, but that's the work. And that's, I can see it very helpful having this. And so when I talked about this idea of intuitive awareness, Ajahn Sumedho calls it reflective awareness. It's awareness without thinking. It's just letting things speak to you, and you don't have to, like, say we're talking, I'm looking at you guys are looking at me. My job is to be aware, and just to be aware of what I'm observing without having to say, okay, well, Will's here and he's this kind of guy, and John is here and he's that kind of guy. It's just experiencing you as you are. Right. Of course, I see masterpieces. I'm not looking at the whatever the symptoms are or whatever. I'm seeing the divine spark. I'm seeing a masterpiece.
Love it.
So by seeing that, now I'm relating to you. And here's the interesting thing. We know this from research. When we relate to people, when we see people, it's helpful if we see them as we know they can be instead of how they are, in the sense of not embracing them where they are. But if you see their greatness and you see what the potential can have, and you can see that and you create a space for them to move into that, that's different than seeing you and saying, okay, you're this way or whatever, but just seeing your greatness, that we have this potential. So let's focus on how we're alike and let's level how we see each other with kindness, but as our masterpiece, as that light, as that divinity. And of course it's challenging to do it, but you'll see, if you see somebody beyond their behavior, and I'm not saying doing this and there's somebody who's dangerous and who's crazy or who is kind of, we might even be, might be a sociopath or whatever. It's really more about understanding that how I see you has everything to do with how I relate to you and what I can see from you, because this is where we get in. We put each other in the box. And it's interesting because I live in Boston and I've worked with a lot of elite teams, and none of them are from Boston. I worked with the Lakers, the Bulls, last year with Edmonton, the Oilers. The thing is, it's like, okay, if you look at it, the Beatles had to leave England to become the Beatles. Jimi Hendrix had to leave. You asked to go to England to be Jimi Hendrix. And the main dude, Jesus, had to leave Nazareth to become the Messiah, because in Nazareth, he's been known as, that's Joseph's son, the carpenter. So there's something about this, we put somebody in a box, we don't let them out, man. We just keep them there. Right. And that's where stereotyping and all of this other stuff goes. And, like being the caste system where the untouchables or people on the other side of the track, we have these ways where we have this illusion of separateness, and we don't have a way of relating to each other on the level of humanity. If we lose our humanity, we make people into things instead of making them to beings and realizing that all men choose only the good. People, they may not have the understanding because they're ignorant or they're not seeing clearly, but everybody is really trying to say things and do things for their highest good, for their good.
Yeah.
For, they choose only the good.
Yeah.
But when you get afraid, you don't think it's enough, so you come from scarcity. So you're not apt to share. You're apt to hoard and to fight off because you feel like you're being threatened. Sometimes you might be. But it's this idea of understanding how we're seeing things, that we have this ability to, and how, because here's the profound thing. Something happens and then we interpret what it means. Now we have a lot of choices. So as Henry Ford said, you think you can or you can't, you're right.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Classic.
why not see things and actually, like Casey talks about this in some of his teachings, that something happens, we get to interpret what it means, and why not interpret things in ways that inspire, empower us to do things.
Hey, thanks for joining us on this journey. Small doses lead to big changes. If you're vibing with this snippet, then take a listen to the full episode by clicking the link in the show notes. If you would like to plug in deeper to what we're doing, head to mentalkingmindfulness.com or text MTM to 33777. Until next time, peace.